today at a undisclosed location with two of the top guys at Compass. One, we have Gordon Golub, who is the senior managing director of all real estate brokers in New York City, and my mentor, my inspiration, my guide, one of the guys that I look up to the most in the industry, and along with my fellow colleague and friend and the founder of Compass Miami, Levi Meyer. Welcome, guys. We're here today to discuss the power of networking and the power of how to leverage the Compass network to grow your business. So, guys, welcome.
Thank you, Talk.
Wow, thank you, Talk. What a great introduction.
What an introduction.
You know, it's funny.
Yeah. He's a good guy to have around.
Yeah.
He's the ultimate hype guy. We bring him everywhere.
Incredible. You do that like you've done it once or twice before. So,
done it a few times.
Yeah.
Done it a few times. But we have a podcast channel called the Real Talk Podcast, and sorry, I'm just a little plug before we start. We talk all things real estate. We talk business. We talk life as a business owner. We talk about the markets. My next episode that will have already launched by the time this episode will launch is with James Nelson, who you and I,
yes,
Gordon, we brought into a 110 office in person when we were only 2 floors and maybe 100 brokers, not even. James Nelson and I discussed the markets of the state of the New York City commercial market with this COVID pandemic during these past 2 years. He sold over $6 billion in real estate. Truly a phenomenal guy to speak to. One of the most well-spoken guys in the industry, as you know, and also an ex-colleague of one of your guys, Robert Knackel, who owned the legendary company Massey Knackel.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. One of the most knowledgeable guys, especially on the multifamily front.
Unbelievable.
And a great guy.
Yeah, and a great guy. Just unbelievable conversations that I've had with him. So check that episode out.
What number podcast is that?
That would be episode 52.
52?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Amazing.
52.
Anyways.
That's amazing. Sorry, I shouldn't mess with your mic.
Tell us why you're here today, Levi.
So I'm here to talk about, as Talk said, leveraging the Compass network for referral business. And again, a big shout out to Talk Yamaguchi, the Talk team, for letting us use all of their amazing podcast, audio visual stuff, and for that amazing intro. We're here, Gordon and I were talking about this many times. Gordon and I are now 5+ year friends. I have been at Compass for a while. I've been to a lot of retreats, and so I've come up with the playbook and we're still refining it, but sort of my playbook for leveraging referrals in this market.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, just seeing it play out live has been one of the thrills of growing this company with you. It's just your gregarious nature, and we'll get into that in a little bit, and how you go about it. You're a natural at it, and considering your background had nothing to do with real estate whatsoever, and then 10 years ago getting into the industry, 5 years ago making the decision to come to Compass. We'll dive into that a little bit, but can you just give everyone a little taste of who you are? I believe you have a sibling or 2 or 9.
1 or 2 or 9.
and just a quick background on you, and then we'll dive into the business.
Well, my story is not quick, and usually nothing that comes out of my mouth is quick. I will try to keep it brief, but yeah, I grew up in Miami Beach, an ultra-Orthodox Jewish family, and so it's not uncommon for some of us to have large families. Mine's particularly large. I'm one of 10 kids, or 10. I have 9 siblings, so it was always a good time in our house. Never a dull moment, that's for sure. And just an interesting background. I grew up, you can hear a lot. Actually, I've spoken on the Talk podcast a little bit more in depth about my history, but
Rabbi or bust.
Rabbi or bust, exactly. So I busted. I decided the rabbinate was not my calling, and I've done a lot of various stuff. I mean, I was in the Israeli Army. I managed call centers. I was a defense contractor with the Department of Defense in Iraq and Afghanistan, doing small arms ammunitions. A little bit of a lot of things. I think we speak about. I worked at Johnny Rockets. I worked at Barnes and Nobles. I've had a lot of different. It was a long journey to get to real estate, but Sky Michaels asked me how do you get into real estate? He loves to ask me, what's the why? What happened? And I say, I was like, real estate was made for me. I was like, it was just waiting for me to arrive, but it was always my thing.
Well, considering your background, now I know why I definitely feel safe sitting next to you. I've always felt safe, but now I definitely. So look, why when you came to Compass, Talk mentioned that there were no agents, there was no brand in Miami, in Florida, when you decided to make that decision to come to Compass. Why did you choose Compass, and how did you know that your gut might be right?
So one of the big allures, the initial allure for me to come to Compass was the technology. I was, this forward-thinking, agent-focused, collaborative environment. That was very alluring to me, because the previous brokerage I was at, it was small, but a bit of an old world brokerage, and agents did not share with one another. They didn't swap. Now you can go to the Facebook Workplace at Compass, and there's team leaders of Compass, and you can get literally their entire playbooks, their team manuals, their hiring, how they pay their agents, their NDAs that they sign. Literally, it is, and I didn't even know that back then. I don't think we had Facebook Workplace back then, but I knew that there was this collaborative environment at Compass, and that was very alluring to me, and the tech was very alluring to me, and we've seen the tech go like leaps and bounds since when I first signed up.
Yeah, no question. And there definitely was no Facebook Workplace back then. We searched through 4 or 5 different systems to land there, and it seems to definitely resonate. But speaking of leaps and bounds, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, there was no presence in Florida. I had met Beth Butler and the 6 people that were Compass at a post Real Deal cocktail thing they were doing right across the street. And it took me about 6 months to get to Compass, but when I finally did, I think we brought Compass Florida to maybe 30. And I found it. I was one of the founding agents, maybe the first or second agent in the Coconut Grove office in the city of Miami, not Miami Beach. And it was a slow start, but I came up to see headquarters and I saw what was happening here, and I made Robert promise me that what's happening here, that this culture, that this support, that will carry on into all the other markets. And he promised me that it will. He said it will take some time. And so I always say to new agents that are like just joining, like I know we have the founding agents now of Raleigh, North Carolina, and Charlotte, and I was on a call with them, and I was saying, guys, just hang in there and take advantage of this time, because that was something that I tried really hard to do. I said I wanted to be the first and make this move, because Compass is going to come to this market. And now's your chance to brand yourself Compass everywhere, so that everybody that knows you or sees you sees your name, Compass. And when it's everywhere, they're just going to associate it with you. People in Miami think I own Compass.
Yeah, yeah.
People in my synagogue, they think I'm the owner. I'm like, oh, no, I wish.
Well, that's the way you want people to think of you. When they think of you, that they want you, or think of Compass, they should be thinking of you. And let's stay there for a minute. You mentioned that people should take advantage when they're... So for those that... We're opening a lot of new markets all across the country. So for those that you're going to connect with, and we'll get into that a little bit at the retreat, that meet you for the first time, or those that are just coming here that are uncertain, what is it that you actually did when you were uncertain initially that actually worked to kind of grow your business and your network? But really, like, you were uncertain. You came here, there were 6 agents here, and you say take advantage of it. But what are the top 2 or 3 things that you would recommend that
to take advantage in my local market?
Yeah, branding.
I mean, I was sending out 5,000 8.5 by 11 mailers with the Compass logo on it. Grab as much inventory as you can right now. Like really, like, use the wave. It's always good to have a fresh new start. And when you get to Compass, it's an exciting time, and you're at this new brokerage. And so I really leveraged my excitement and enthusiasm in this company that people hadn't yet heard about, but it raised over $100 million and was already, I think, well on its way to becoming a unicorn. And so while people didn't know about Compass, I felt that was the time to go through my past clients, my spheres. I was calling people just to say hello, and it's like there's no better icebreaker than to say, hey, I just want to say, hey, how you doing? I joined a new company, this Compass, and give them 5, 10 talking points, and just they'll feel your enthusiasm through that. But it's a great way to touch base with people. It's a great time to go out and brand, to get on your Instagram, but really just push. And again, if you're excited about being here, people are going to feel that.
Yeah, and I'm hearing connect with your sphere. And now times are different, where most people have heard of Compass now being a public company, but you could even use that opportunity to to a greater extent to leverage the brand if you're opening a new market, and the excitement around that seems like it would almost be easier in a way to do that now.
So, but it wasn't until, again, I came to Compass for, the tech, the collaborative environment. It wasn't until Beth Butler, who started Compass Florida, she was the founding broker who hired and trained everybody, and I mean, she all but dragged me by my ear to the airport to make me go to the Hamptons. But when I arrived in the Hamptons, and so now I'll speak to the agents who have not yet left their market or are new to Compass that haven't gone to a retreat or another event. That was it was game changer, eye opening. I got to the Hamptons and it was like my mind exploded. Like all these amazing agents, sharing, learning with one another, and just friendly, excited to be here, and it's so much fun. It was breathtaking, and to me it opened up the possibility of what has now become this national network of agents that I all these referrals and all these people that I've met in so many different markets. That was the spark, and I promise you'll go to one retreat or big event and and you'll see it, and we'll talk about tips on ways that you can plan and do things.
Just so we can kind of level set with 5 years ago coming to Compass compared to now, how much has your business grown? I know when we first spoke, and I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit.
A few 100%. I have to check. I have to, actually.
But multiples.
Yeah, actually, this guy Sean Soderstrom, who used to be a Compass tech guy, he started a company called Corded. It's I think Corded.io, and he in Florida at least, I think, I don't know if it's national yet, but in Florida he actually runs all of your stats, and so you can go to like your agent page and he'll show you your growth year over year. And so like I actually was looking at it, and he was blown away. He's like, wow, look at him. My price points have jumped. My growth is easily a few 100%.
Yeah, I
didn't come here as a large agent. I was just, they were looking for when they were just starting the market. So I didn't come here as some huge producer. I was one of the top producers in my small brokerage. But I went from being a big fish in a small pond to a small fish in a very big pond.
Yeah, I mean, as we've grown this, we've looked for well-respected agents in their market, and the GCI is not the critical indicator there. Yeah. It's how well-respected they are, because then other agents say, if Levi Meyer went there, something must be happening there. If he had the intuition. So
it was the culture. And I think we've done a really good job. It's not perfect. Nothing's perfect, and we grow to so big. Nothing is. We were in the beginning. It had a very small family feel, and it was really, and it's like, and now it's much bigger. But in a lot of ways, you still feel that, and the culture is still. I mean, I met an agent on the airplane the other day.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things we all need to work hard at. Is as we get big, we need to keep it small and keep it tight. And look, doing this sort of thing here with you right now is exactly what you're doing. But you're about to open up. Your plan to others of what has helped you grow your business multiple times. You and I spoke, 2.5, 3 years ago, and there was a fork in the road, and you were considering, do I continue to grow my business? Do I continue to go and maybe be a sales manager? And we spoke recently. And that was a very difficult decision. And since you made that decision, your business has gone 2 to 3 times since you've made that decision.
So when we had that conversation, and it wasn't even, I wasn't even having a terrible year.
You were doing well.
It just wasn't what I wanted. And I had, sometimes you just get hit by the bus.
Yeah.
Like no matter how many times you get up, it'll just knock you down. And I was having a year. I was just, this is not. I didn't come to be in real estate to make good money or okay money. Yeah. Like I wanted to hit
unlimited upside.
We all want to get into that 7-figure earning potentials, and so but you and I had a very stern conversation. You said, look, you could do great at this. You can go off and do whatever other things that you want to do, but double down, and you can. He's like, you see the 7-figure earning potentials. I mean, and since that conversation, I mean, my business is at least tripled, maybe quadrupled.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of learning in that for a lot of people when we question ourselves, when we question our path. And you didn't just make the decision. you went and put a plan together and executed against that plan. I don't know.
Very aggressively,
Yeah.
because you had said in the beginning. So for me, it is networking is natural. It's very easy for me to talk to people. I love a room full of 1,000 people. It's just I light up. I feed on the energy. I'm an empath or whatever you want to call it. But I love talking to people, and so for me that is easy. But I sat with Jeff Polishuk, who was the sales manager in Miami Beach. He oversaw several markets in Miami Beach and worked very closely with you over the years.
Guy.
Incredible, like one of my favorite sales managers, and I have a list of them, but it starts at the top of Gordo. And he's moved on. He's no longer with Compass now. I think he's with a new startup called Picasso, which is doing very exciting things. But he and I sat down, and he said, "Levi, you go to the retreats," and I've been to 9, 10, however many retreats there are. I've been to every one of them. So that's the Hamptons, New York City, San Francisco, Aspen, Boston, DC, LA, Nashville. If I'm forgetting any, I don't know, Miami, which was the crescendo of retreats, and now we took a hiatus and we're coming back in Austin in November. But I've done all those, and Jeff Polishuk's out with me and said, "It's great you're going to these retreats and you're meeting all these people and you're shaking hands and giving out business cards, you're doing whatever." He's like, "But how are you turning it into a business? What is the process that you're going through here, to really refine it and to squeeze as much as you can out of it and scale it?" And so we actually sat down and talked a lot about different tactics, tips and tricks, things that we can hone in on to make it more mindful. So when you're going to a retreat, I'm not just showing up and hoping to have a good time. I'm making a mindful process to plan ahead, and there's people I want to meet, there's feeder markets that I want to so it's a little bit of research. It's about reaching out to SGMs, agents, sales managers. I mean, by SGMs, the strategic growth managers, I mean, no agent, like nobody comes to Compass without going through a strategic growth manager. Like some of the sales managers haven't yet met the new Compass agents. Exactly I made it a point to get to know as many SGMs as I can in feeder markets for me, so that I can get introductions to, hey, who are the new people that just got to Compass, right? People that just got here. They haven't met anybody yet. They haven't gone to any retreats yet. They probably don't know a single person in Miami.
And they're probably lit up when you ask them. They want to help you because at the same time they want your help in return.
And they just recruited somebody to Compass, and they want to show them the power of this network. Right. Hey, can I introduce you to this guy in Miami? Yeah, of course you can introduce me to another agent who might send me a referral.
That is a top tipper trick that I have not heard yet.
That's the first time I heard of it too.
So SGMs, sales managers are great, but and it's retreats are fantastic, but I don't stop at retreats, because at retreats you're vying for everybody's attention, and everybody's running around. There's 1,000 people or 2,000 people. I mean, there was a lot of noise. In Aspen there was 60 people. It was great. It was the cutest little retreat and so intimate. But
it was a little family trip.
It was a great little family trip, and that's how I met Taka. I know Taka I might have met before.
Yeah, no, we met before, but we met.
I've heard this is one of your tricks.
Oh yeah, selfies.
A little selfie.
I was looking.
There you go.
I have something like 8,000 selfies in my cell phone.
So talk to us about that. So I know, business cards are kind of cliche. It's like kind of they can work, but talk to.
I have a few tips and tricks. And so first of all, I call it the business card misconception. Like agents, and this is not for retreats. This is a life networking lesson. Is nobody likes the person that walks into an expo, a retreat, a seminar, and just starts handing out business cards like they're Starbucks gift cards. Like nobody wants your business
I don't like
card.
To be on the receiving end. It doesn't feel great.
It just doesn't feel good. It's like when you come out of the grocery store and there's like 3 pamphlets stuffed into your window for lawn and ACs. It's like they end up in the garbage. It's not. You have to make a connection with people. And so one of the ways that I do that is, again, I'm friendly and I like to have a good time. But when I connect with someone, that's when it's valuable. Just giving somebody my business card, it's not, I mean, maybe it's a numbers game. I don't know, not my game. But I will have a connection. But when it's time to break off, right? Maybe I just met somebody. A great place to meet somebody is in line at the bar. You're going to go get some drinks at an event. You have about 5 minutes. It's 10 deep at the bar. You can chit chat with somebody. If you like them, you continue talking with them, right? You don't, it doesn't vibe, it doesn't work. All right, well, it's nice meeting you, and you off with your drink, you go join your friends. But if you did connect, even if it was just for a moment, and you like them, you grab a selfie. So you'll see me taking selfies with everybody. But again, through planning with Jeff and really like mapping this out, it was like, who are all these people in these selfies?
Yeah.
You didn't get their business card?
Yeah.
How are you going to match the business card to the person? And so I have an almost systematic approach. I mean, you'll see me take a lot of selfies, but when I want to remember somebody, I will take a selfie with them, and then I'll take their business card and I will take a picture of it right after. And if it's not a business card, what I prefer to do the business card is jump right in to their Instagram and just immediately, what's your handle? Boom, followed back. Now we're connected. Then I screenshot their Instagram. So I'll have selfie, Instagram screenshot, selfie, business card, selfie, Instagram. And then I can later, when I get back, kind of go back and process all these people that I met and then go and touch base with the people.
But think about what you're doing there, the power of making the meaningful connection. I've heard you say that referrals are the holy grail or the gold. And I know how much they mean to you, and a lot of your clients have become your friends, and those clients have come from other referrals. But you're using technology and you're using your ability to connect with people and the technology to help you move really fast to capture all that.
And there's a lot of apps. People like, you can scan a business card, and it's and I even tried once saving my home screen as a QR code so that people meet. It's like, oh, boom, you can scan my QR code, which may still be a great way to do it.
Yeah.
And I may do that at the next retreat. It's like a cute little thing. But I found that like the app can slow you down. But it's like just Instagram, follow, screenshot.
Yeah, we're gonna call it the Levi app. Yeah, we'll create it. I mean, all we got to do is connect all the dots there. We'll move quick. And so look, let's get in here. There's your top five. Give me. Let me see. Or you can give us your top three.
I do have a cheat sheet here.
No problem.
Some of my tips and tricks. So
what do we want to do? To generate agent to agent leads.
Let's break it down.
Referrals.
Let's break it down to two different categories. One is going to be just general ways that you can grow your referral business and your national network, because I think that is key, right? That's the goal. The goal is grow your network. Then we can talk about some tips and tricks that I have for retreats that I think are just great for any kind of networking event, but I use it most of the retreats. So I think breaking those two different categories. And in category number one, when we're talking about growing your referral network, I've had this conversation. I've been kind of refining this playbook, and I've did a talk in San Francisco at Butch Hayes' listing, and he this amazing $15 million listing. You got to check it. It's called The Vault. I got to plug it. Sorry,
The Vault.
It's
awesome.
Such a sick listing. It's like I want to say thevault.com, but you can get it at Butch Hayes' Instagram account. We hosted. I went out to California. Kevin connected me with Butch, and it was again all the network. I reached out. They were happy to do something. I wanted to host a little event. We paired two agents. Me and Butch got together. We'd never really met in person, but we have a lot of friends in common, and we hosted this event there. So I've spoken there. I did the 6 a.m.ers with Sky Michael, and we talked a lot about some of my tips and tricks. But one of the things that I've done when I have a room full of people, and it's not just me and Gordon talking, is I will show of hands. And I've done this in Boston 2 years ago with Chris Thoman, another great sales manager in Compass. Show of hands. Do you know one agent in every Compass market? And actually, in my last call, I kept my hand up, and Talk proved to me this morning that I'm wrong. There are a handful, at least, of new markets that I do not know an agent in. So I am going to be taking I'm going to be taking the Levi Meyer National Challenge. But I say, do you know one agent in every single Compass market? And if not, shame on you, shame on me, shame on everybody.
Shame on everybody.
Because there's no reason for that. It is as simple as starting with the one agent that you know. If you don't know any other agent in another market, reach out to your sales manager. They network and they can connect you with other agents. Just calling someone and say, I don't know anybody in Chicago, and I don't have a referral at the moment, but I'd like to just connect with somebody, and talk to 5 different agents, see who you vibe with. Boom, now you have a Chicago agent. Welcome to the WhatsApp group. Hey, Chicago agent, I need someone in San Francisco. Start one little area at a time, and you can do it immediately and just throw in anybody, or you can be diligent and find the right agents. Go to retreats with the purpose of meeting agents in those markets. Plan that ahead. But I think just starting with that, you'll find that in no time at all, you will at least be somebody that can say, if you come across somebody that lives in Denver, you can just boom, plug your Denver agent.
Yeah,
Plug your
I think
San
that's
Francisco
brilliant
agent.
advice. My coach has said to me, how far do you have to lift an anchor to get a boat in motion? It's just like this much. Like just one agent in each market. Start, and you could use LinkedIn. You can go on our site. You could just you could welcome them to the company. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it that are very simple.
And with
Give
that,
us something else.
Well, and with that, I also say that I have this concept of like be the one, right? If I were in the same room and and I just point to a random agent and say, how many agents do you know in Nashville? None.
Mm-hmm.
How many agents do you know in Chicago? Oh, I know an agent.
Yeah.
I already know in New York. 2. Sometimes people know 1. They might know 2. Maybe 3, 4, or 5. Very rarely do agents know 10, 15, or 20 agents. It's usually one or none. Usually one or none. And so it's not rocket science. Go out and just be the one, right? Like, I'm going to be the Miami guy. I'm going to go make sure that I'm at a retreat, that everybody knows me and they like me and they see that, yes, I have a good time, but that I can execute and I run a good business and I'm a likable closer and I'm the one guy. That's it. They're not going to spend, they don't need to have 100 people in Miami. Just go be the one.
So 5 years out, how many hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars do you think your business will have generated due to, just take a guess, go 5 years, look, it's only been 5 years and nobody knew you when nobody knew the brand.
And look, networking's a 5-year process.
Yeah.
You're not going to get referrals. Referrals is a bit of a passive way of doing business. I can't just turn on the Zillow lead faucet and start making calls tomorrow morning. It doesn't work that way. This has to be a long-term plan where you're building a network and you're staying in touch with those networks. Chirag Shah and I'm doing coaching with Chirag, and we're talking about even just breaking out all the agents that I meet into different tier categories and how I'll stay in touch with them. My tier 1s might get an annual holiday gift from me. My tier 2s might get, tier 3 might just get my email drip.
It's a lot of work. It sounds like it beats mailings, though.
But it
does,
and it's so much more fun. It's not like I have a bad time.
Yeah.
But I think starting with growing your national network, picking a feeder market and visiting that market outside of the retreat. Like we touched on that, 1,000 agents, 2,000 agents, everybody's running around. We have all these type A, ADHD ridden, wild agents, and it's like everybody's competing for the oxygen in the room. But when you go follow up to your feeder market, contact an SGM before you get there. Weeks out, get a list of 10 names, call the sales manager, ask 2 agents that you know in that market for 5 agents. I did this for my San Francisco, LA. I literally had tabs: Hampton, San Francisco, LA, New York City, and I mapped it out. I had on each tab 20 or 30 agents that I had to reach out to. You're not going to get a meeting with everybody, but going in person and spending a day or 2 in those markets with a schedule, plan it out. Do a coffee with this person, a lunch with that person. Give yourself some breathing room. Don't be running around town, uptown, downtown. But doing that has been incredible for my business.
So if I'm sitting here watching this as an agent and kind of saying, I don't have the time. I'm so busy. I don't have the time to do this. I need to handle the business coming in. I need to be out there generating the business in my own market. What would it sounds like this sort of effort that you're putting in is going to be worth the dividends, not even questionable.
I think that it's not even a measurable amount of
it's millions of dollars.
I can't fathom. I mean,
you can't even
look,
imagine.
And I have done, and this is a number you've seen a few times. Is like we looked at my 12-year rolling, and it was just under. We're saying 70. Well, we're rounding, but it was just under 70% of my business last year was referral business.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of factors there, right? The Miami market exploded this past year. We had a ton of influx from New York, California, and DC, and Chicago. It was, it was a great time for referrals in Miami. So that probably adds to it. I think most agents are having great years.
So let me ask you a question.
But it was 5 years of culmination, so that I was ready for that moment.
No question.
When the market exploded in Miami, it was, hey, Levi, have people moving. Hey, Levi, have people moving. Hey, Levi, and then we were inundated.
And the time and energy you've put in with people to cultivate that over that time. But if we took that away. And hold that thought.
Yeah.
Let's ask it this way: if we took away your ability to network throughout the Compass network, would you feel like you could, like you'd be suffocated? Like your business would be probably 1/10 of what it is if we look at it that way.
I mean,
you'd have no oxygen.
I mean, I would feel absolutely like I look at what other companies could I do this at? And I don't want to go by names, but most of them are disenfranchised.
Yeah.
Some of them are only in New York and LA. They don't have all these other markets.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, over the last 5 traveled to several different markets together, and Talk invited a bunch of us over for a dinner at his mother's house. I got to meet Talk's mom. It was an amazing. He played violin for us in his
Talk
living
played
room.
the violin.
Talk dusted it off like he hadn't seen it in 10 years, and just
that is
starts
incredible.
tuning it, and played a 3-minute performance for us solo.
Well, Talk has a saying. It's called chop wood. You know, we used to be in the
Chop wood.
office till midnight in the early days often. So now it's chop wood and play the violin.
It's all about the discipline. You know,
I
you
have that
play,
video.
you learn how to
I
play
have
an
that video.
instrument,
If
you learn how to
anybody
grow a
wants to see
business.
it. It was amazing. But you know, Tracy Golding reaches out to Josh Higgins, and from Tracy Golding from New York City reaches out to Josh Higgins from San Diego. Says she needs she has somebody looking in Florida. Turns out the guy's looking in all of Florida. He's not sure. Maybe Miami, maybe Fort Lauderdale, maybe Delray, maybe Palm Beach, maybe Naples, maybe Fort Myers. So I was like, I can't. I like to go where my boat and my golf cart can take me. I say.
But that's
so I try to keep it very local. So, but I said, but look, let me try to save you some time. I put together a list. Here's a couple agents in Fort Lauderdale. Here's a couple agents in Boca. Here's a couple agents in Naples. Here's somebody that works Fort Myers. And I just made her a quick list. I said, they're all great agents.
Talk about adding value.
Go interview them. Tracy said, thank you. You saved me a fortune of time. Reached out, found exactly what she needed. She's working with an agent in Naples. I go to the Hamptons a few weeks ago for an event that Matt Breitenbach was hosting. And I said, I'm coming to the Hamptons. Tracy's like, stay at my house, please. Please come. I have a guest house for you, please.
Yeah,
and so
incredible.
It's not just a network that you're building for business or for monetary. I've some of the closest friends of my life that will be lifelong friends, whether I stay at Compass or whether I get out of real estate or whatever it is that I do in the future. The company's done an excellent job.
Not to take away from Tracy, but you also stayed at a pretty cool house in Brooklyn.
I did. Oh, yeah. And Talk was in the Hamptons. I stayed in his apartment. So it's like I came to New York City, stayed for free. Went to the Hamptons, stayed for free.
Worked out pretty well.
Had cocktails and hors d'oeuvres. With you and 100 other people at Matt's listing. I got to see James Petrie and Lori Schiaffino and Antonio Botero, and I've really enjoyed building this network. So it's much more than just money for me. It's a family.
Speaking of that, and speaking of it's a family, and the way you do it, you're genuine. You care about people. You've tell us a little bit about your, being who you are. You and Robert Refkin share something very similar. Is that you like to have Shabbat dinners with other folks within your sphere, and tell us a little bit about what you've done there, and that's kind of living it the way Levi lives it, right?
So it's a lot of really living your truth, and I think that you have to be your authentic self. And the more it's hard to do that. Believe it, it's harder than it sounds to be your authentic self. Everybody wants to look like we're always striving to beat someone else. It's like, just compete with you, but be you. I'm very Jewish. I may not be so orthodox, but I'm very Jewish, and I love Shabbat. I actually do my best to really to take Saturday for the kids, for my family. For the last almost 10 years of my business, I have almost only in the beginning. When my kids were born, I stopped. So I don't even show property on Saturdays. Someone else on my team will do it. We'll do it on Sunday. As far as I know, I've never lost a client for it. Usually people respect you for it even more. They're like, wow, it's important. You got to take time for your family. So I try to stay true to that. We do Shabbat dinners. Sometimes in my house. Annually, we host a Compass Shabbat dinner for all of Compass, Florida, or as many as we can fit in the venue, which is usually, the last one we had 115.
Wow.
We were supposed to have one in August. We're postponing it to October. But we'll probably cap at about 125 people. But it's a great time.
How do you do the selfies? Because I hear there's no phones allowed.
No phones allowed.
So
this is the only time that you will have 120 people in real estate that are not on their
incredible.
phones. We booze them up a little bit, and we sing Jewish, Shabbat songs, and people are you got to stand on the table and sing "It Ain't Gonna Work on Saturday" song. It's a lot of fun, and we make Compass yarmulkes, which you had mentioned a little earlier, I was. Even the Compass yarmulke, it's true to me. It's who I am. I don't wear a yarmulke every day, but when I go to a synagogue or a shul, I will. So we have the Compass yarmulkes, and I've even that Compass yarmulke I gave it as a gift to a guy in New York, Dogan Baru, who Talk actually randomly introduced me to in the HQ back in the day. And he and I connected, Instagram, back in, a few emails exchanges back and forth, but we follow each other. And the time came and he had a referral in Miami. I'm shopping for homes with them as we speak.
Incredible.
But you did ask a question before I didn't answer, and I wanted to touch on.
Sure, please.
You had said, what if you don't want to go to these other markets? What if you don't have the budget to go to these other markets? Like what if you don't have the time to go to these other markets? So time, first of all, I make time. I learned a very important lesson, in my life, like when I was dating my wife, that if something's important to you, you will make time for it, and that's just what it is. So first of all, if it's important to you, great, go do it. If you absolutely right now cannot prioritize that, and to take 2 days or 3 days or 5 days to go to other markets and retreats, there are so many other tools. There are agents that are rock star killing it, just leveraging the freest and best of all tools, the workplace group.
Yeah.
Literally just Facebook Workplace. It's free. Compass is paying for it, or it's a platform provided to all of us. Yeah. It doesn't. There is out at Compass. There's women of Compass. There's the what do they call it, the biking of Compass. There's Peloton at Compass.
And if you don't see something, you go and create it.
If you don't see something, you go and create it. Laura Goldberg from my team said, look, I can't travel the retreats, single mom, I can't take 5 days off. So I said, well, get in Facebook Workplace. Yeah. Start a group. You literally can't go to the retreat because you're a single mom and you don't have time. Yeah. Then I think there needs to be a single moms of Compass, and you guys need to get together and talk about how you do what you do and share and collaborate with one another. And by doing that, you'll share, you'll collaborate, you'll learn, and you'll grow your referral network all around the country. So she starts that. 3 days later, guess who joins? Ruth Refkin.
Incredible.
The ultimate mother, single mother of Compass. So
probably not somebody she thought was going to be popping up on there.
No, but it's like it's as you can make. You don't have to get up in your car and go. It is nice, but there are agents that are incredibly active. Amit Buddha is an agent from Miami who is just. He's I want to say dominated. In many ways, like the Facebook Workplace, and I respect him for it. He's done it. It's a free tool. You put some time and effort to it, and it will pay dividends. You see referrals go up for Miami, and it's Amit.
So many learnings there, and also. You said you now take Saturdays off. When we spoke a few years ago, one of the challenges was you didn't have the time with your family. And that was one of the reasons why agents sometimes say, what would the world be like if I wasn't an agent? I wouldn't have to work weekends. But you ran into that obstacle and you figured out a path. You built a team. It wasn't easy to do. There's a quote that I love that comes from Strategic Coach. It's all those things that seem to oppose our goals are actually the raw materials to achieve them. So the same way you just described with your team member. Give us your best sage advice for how when you're coming up against obstacles in growing your business with referrals, whether it's like you said, and you gave us some examples, but what would you say that you haven't told us yet when you're running into obstacles where agents it's not working, where they haven't been able to kind of break through or build it, and there's 100 different ways to do it. How would you what advice would you give that agent that's struggling?
I do think that like anything else, it's a numbers game, and so you got to keep at it. You got to just keep trying new things. If something's not working, swap it out for another. I have a some will, some won't. So what philosophy, right? It's like you'll meet some agents. Sometimes it doesn't work, but keep at it. You'll keep meeting people. There's the great underestimated referral network is sometimes actually your regional network. So maybe it's not working for you at the retreats. Maybe and feel free to reach out. I'm happy. I will gladly take a call. Send me an email. We'll put some time on the calendar. I'm happy to talk one-on-one, and because we're kind of skimming the surface in a short 45-minute window here on this much larger playbook. There are many topics we're not diving into over here, but happy to chat about it and come up with creative ideas. But if it's not working on the national level, and then for everybody else, don't underestimate regional. Right? I go to Naples twice a year, which is a 2-hour drive for me. I go over and I see all the whole crew over there. I go to they're having a Christmas party. and I know enough of them, so okay, let me come to the Christmas parties. Every year I'm at the Naples Christmas party or holiday party. I make it a point to go to Fort Lauderdale, and when they have events and they have their anniversary event, I went to Fort Lauderdale and I had a celebration with them, meet some agents. People will, the business, again, be the connector.
It's really smart. Like, it doesn't have to be this national. It could be regional.
I mean, people call me all the time. The majority of referrals I get, large majority, and I stopped tracking them a while back. I stopped tracking it all a while ago. But which Chirag is not happy with me for, so we're going to get back into detailed tracking.
Be held accountable, Chirag style.
Detailed tracking, right? Because I stopped more or less around when COVID and the Miami exploded.
I wouldn't question
Miami
yourself.
Exploded in the winter. Yeah. It was like it was like we couldn't take all the calls. It was absolutely bonkers. But the majority, and I want to say probably 60%, 70% of the referrals that I got were not for me. In the end, they were. It was like they called me because it's Miami. Yeah. It turns out it's Palm Beach or Boca.
And then you
Fort
get
Lauderdale.
Connected back through.
And you got it.
Everybody thinks Florida's the same.
All Florida's just Florida.
Florida. Miami. Levy's got Florida. Yeah, Florida.
But I always thought, they think of me for Florida, great. And then if it's not for me, I've now networked my way through Florida that I know enough agents in all those markets, and I'm happy to meet more. But where I can guide you in the right direction, or at least send you to a sales manager. Yeah. So
people like Tracy will never forget that guy. It's a perfect example.
And when when you pass it along, and most of the time, not always, but most of the time, without skimming the top, I just say, I'm happy to connect you guys. Take me for a steak, whatever. But drinks on you. They're both going to remember you connected them, and when that time comes, the reciprocation is usually there.
Yeah.
I want to go into. We're running a little on time, so we had talked about growing your network. We said build your national network. Sky Michaels and I are talking about putting together like an actual national challenge. So reach out.
Love that.
Send an email if you want to join the national challenge. But we are putting together a challenge of where every agent needs to go out and get one agent at least one in every single market, right? So do that, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's Facebook Workplace, whether it's a spreadsheet. We're gonna talk about building out that, the Facebook work group, the retreats. If you didn't make it to the retreats, that was a big contentious issue. So not everybody was able to get a ticket. There are other events. I went to the Hamptons for a 100-person networking event. I'm going to Chirag Shaw's coaching event. I'm actually going to be speaking on a panel on this topic.
Yeah, there's agents coming in from 20 different states.
I think Chirag's planning to have I think he's already over 400 something. It's going to be almost like a mini retreat for 2-3 days in the city. A day of networking, a day of growing your business, very strategic coaching style, lectures, panel discussions from agents in all different markets. Matt Spangler, I think, is a keynote speaker there. So maybe you didn't make retreat, head to Chirag's event. There are other ways that you can do it. As an example, I'm going to be in Aspen for the
Aspen Jazz.
Aspen Jazz, that's Aspen Snowmass Jazz Festival. And that's almost like a little mini retreat. There's a bunch of agents going from all different markets. I think they're even hosting some Compass parties. And so, there are ways. You got to get out there. Again, feel free to tap into me, ask your sales manager, find these different events. But they are happening. And of course, we'll see it people the Austin retreat. But I wanted to touch on some of the tips and tricks I use
at the retreat
for actual networking.
Okay, got it.
I may look like a natural, and it is natural to me. But I have sat down and thought about what are the best ways to network at retreats. What are the pitfalls? What are the do's and don'ts? Right? So we talked about the business card misconception.
Yeah. Nobody
wants it. Don't do it. Find another way to come across and connect and be real, and to add your value. As much as you want to go with a purpose and you want to plan and you want to meet agents from certain feeder markets and you want to set up lunches and you want to set up coffees and you want to set up happy hours and dinners, do that, but leave room. I like to stay as nimble as possible at the retreats, so that I can pivot.
There's so much programming
don't
to begin
overcommit.
with,
There's so much going on. and you're going to meet agents, and there's going to be people, hey, we're grabbing a drink.
And you won't be your authentic
in the
self,
hotel bar. Or, oh, sorry, I have to go meet a coffee because I already because I planned out my whole schedule for 2 days. Do that when you're visiting a feeder market. Plan your whole schedule. But at the retreat, try to stay a little bit more nimble. I keep kind of like a list of all the things that are going on, and as the day goes on, I see what I can make it to and what I can't. But it's try to stay nimble is a really good one. Don't crowd the door. Don't be the person that sits at the door waiting for people to come in and people just walked in. Give them a minute to absorb. Right? We talked about networking at the lines are really great. Sometimes there's a line around the block to get into the all team meeting. Work the line. Yeah. Talk to people. Say hello. That's a great. That 30 minutes standing outside. Have fun with it. Meet people. I've met some of the best people in the lines. We prepare.
But if people come up to you in the line at the retreat, are you going to be able to open up the velvet rope to get them in?
I did get a VIP ticket.
You invested in it.
I got in the first round.
You purchased up. You paid more money for that VIP ticket. You committed to
Nick
it.
Svensson actually made me. I bought a regular ticket, and Nick Svensson said, "No, you're getting a VIP ticket." So I don't need to. I'll work the line. I like the line. Yeah. He's like, no, you're getting it. You got to get it.
So you paid the extra.
So I went. I got another one and sold. I got the VIP one and I sold the other one. You'll probably still see me working the lines. I'll see you on the lines.
Give us a couple more tips and tricks at retreats.
Retreats are a lot like high school, and I know I don't have the most experience with high school. I mean, like maybe coming from the wrong person, but from what I've seen on television, from what I've seen on TV, it's tough. Like you get to your first retreat, maybe you don't know anybody. You're going to want to cling to the friend that you came with from your market and hang out together. Yeah. Which in reality that's not nature, you need to break apart. So like trust your gut. When your gut's telling you walk up to someone and go meet them, they're probably standing there on their phone trying to look busy, or you see people, you can always see them. Find the corner, look for the person that's looking to talk to someone else and go say hello, right? And the longer you sit there not doing it, the harder it becomes to do. So just like dive in, go,
get out of your comfort zone.
Get out of your comfort zone.
I usually don't see Levi after 10 a.m. until about midnight. I'd probably see him after midnight.
I just go, and it's like there's no time to waste.
Off to the races.
A lot of people to meet.
That's great.
Like, where's my friends?
And I know that as people see you at the retreat, you're happy to connect them with other people. I'm happy to do the same.
Gordon's you're the greatest of connectors, and it's that. And then I cannot stress enough: be your authentic self. Be who you are. People will they see right through the phony.
I think that's incredible advice. As we come to an end here, I ran into an agent here in New York City on the street the other day, and he's been doing this for close to 20 years, and he's got tattoos up his arms, and he's now gone through social media and showing that more. He said he's being himself more than he ever has. He used to wear a suit every day, and he's having the best year of his career. Nice. And he said it's because he's just himself.
Just own it.
Yeah, he's own it. And he said at times it's been uncomfortable to get there, but now that he's there, it's just that's he's going to continue to leverage. I think it's great advice. What one last piece do you want to leave everyone with here? Not Levi, leave everyone. Levi, leave everyone with.
And not Levi.
Not Levi. I've tried every version of Levi's name, but leave us with something Levi.
I would just say, it's like anything else. It's you need to have a big plan. Take some notes. I'm developing a playbook and developing it into a full business plan, But just like anything else, start small.
Keep it simple.
And start small, organic, grow. I got thrown into this WhatsApp group with some people, and then they were looking for someone in Dallas, so we added someone in Dallas. They were looking for someone in Nashville, so we, somebody, I know a great agent here. We know it in Denver and Westchester, and so and it's I'm in a lot of different Compass text message groups and WhatsApp groups. I have people all over, and but it grew kind of organically, and then it got into this bigger thing. And then at the first retreat, we all sat down and met at a happy hour right before the all-team meeting. We had a couple cocktails and got to see and that changes it incredibly. So it's just like start small, grow organically, but do it with a purpose and a plan, and just be patient. This has been 5 years for me. I feel like I'm just now getting the playbook and seeing all the fruits of labor. So I'm excited to see what the next 5 years will be like.
It's incredible. Like how many agents did you connect with prior to coming at Compass in your first 5 years, and how many have you connected with after? So
I mean, well, again, it was a local Florida brokerage, and it wasn't
less than 100, a couple hundred,
a couple hundred,
and
they were all Florida agents that didn't want to share with you because they knew you might be taking their lunch tomorrow.
That's perfect proof.
But
and now look at what you've done with this. Many thousands of agents.
I probably met. How many would you say?
Many. I think somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 agents.
I probably met at least 5,000.
Agents.
I would say at least 5.
So that's perfect proof of someone that was at 100 or so locally, and you just went ahead and did this with all the obstacles. There was no brand, there was no marketing, and you did it.
And it's not. I'm not everybody's referral agent.
Yeah.
That's okay. You know, like
it doesn't matter.
Click with the ones you're going to click with. People, you know, and then big post tip I would say is when you do get to the stage where you're getting referrals, execute.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than taking a referral that you can't work, or that in a neighborhood you don't really service, and like that. I mean that's you know, they say it's earned in drops and lost in buckets. Right. So
we're gonna have to do a whole nother session on that, which
yes.
is a great point, because people talk, and you know, if you don't do a great job, then they're going to talk.
And I hope that I have it all my things, but you probably won't hear about it if you don't. But you know, everybody else will.
Great advice. Thanks so much for spending this time with us.
This was amazing. This was fun. Thank you.
Really enjoyed it. Can't wait to get down to Austin and have some fun with.
You're bringing a hat.
Yeah, I'm
getting a hat and boots.
Yeah, hat, boots. You know, the whole thing.
I bought a Kemosabe and Aspen. I might wear it.
Amazing. Awesome. Thanks, Levi.
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks again to the Talk team for hosting this.
You got it. So Levi, do you want to, before we close out, do you want to go ahead and plug your Instagram? How can people reach you?
Absolutely. If you want to reach me directly, I'm just Levi@compass.com. I've got in early enough to get that.
And do you spell that like Levi Jeans, or?
I spell it It's Levi at compass.com, and you want to reach me on Instagram, it's Levi Meyer, Meyer, and that's RE. So Levi Meyer RE at Instagram. That's the handle.
Awesome. Let's go ahead up and blow up his phone. Make that connection.
All right, we'll put that in the show notes as well.
Awesome.
Happy to help. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.